birth control. Shark's teeth? Uteri, uteruses, uteruses, you know, which is like... Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope everyone's doing wonderfully. This week I'm going to be talking about fun facts about birth control. It's obviously such a huge thing. Everyone's on it, besides men, we'll get to that later. Everyone seems to be taking it, all different, there's so many different types, there's so much information out there, there's just so much to talk about birth control. But I was like, I'll just do something on like fun facts of it or things you might not have known. And there was one fact in particular that I kind of learnt recently that kind of spurred me on to learn a bit more. And I went and did some digging, I found some bits, and so I'm just going to talk through them today. And I think they're super interesting. So let's get started. Obviously, full disclaimer before I start talking is I am not a doctor, I am not a medical professional. This is literally Google's work. Literally do not take basically take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt. I am not a medical professional, so like I'm not even like saying anything like properly like but just in case, yeah, just pinch of salt. Woohoo! Woo, let's get started. So number one, I read that no IUD, so IUD is intrauterine device, usually like the coil or something like that. Most people probably know what the coil is. It's basically a method of contraception, but no IUD has been designed by a woman apparently. Given the state of the world, not that shocking, but still interesting seeing as it's going inside uteruses, and so that could be one reason why it's someone's head shaped like shark's teeth. I have no idea what shark's teeth look like, but apparently maybe. Or one reason why it's super uncomfortable. Maybe if a woman designed it, it would be more comfortable going in through the cervix into the uterus. Who knows? So yeah, interesting fact. Number two, diaphragms. Do we all know what diaphragms are? So diaphragms were like basically just, you can still use them now. I don't really know why they kind of went out of like fashion or whatever, but they were kind of used back in the day basically as like a blocker. So like you'd put it kind of like up your cervix. It's almost like discs for periods now, which you could also have sex while using. But yeah, they're basically just put them up your cervix and like kind of leave them at the top of your cervix is what I believe. And you'd have sex and then you'd leave it in for a few hours and then you shake it out, and it was just kind of a blocker method. But fun fact, they are I guess known as womb veils, which just seems a bit creepy or something. It's kind of associated with like the Catholic Church or something. I don't know, just creepy anyway. So yeah, womb veils. Who knew? Number three, so there, in terms of IUDs, in terms of coils, there's the copper one. And fun fact, which I didn't know, so basically the coils work kind of a numerous ways. They work by like making it so that the lining of your womb never forms in the first place, so that there's nothing for the sperm to attach to then create like the fetus, I guess, or like the zygote and like the cells and all that jazz. Or they work by like thickening the mucus at like the entrance of your uterus so that sperm doesn't get through. But interestingly enough, the copper coil can work by literally tearing the head off the sperm, like ripping the head from the tail of the sperm. And that's like, and then obviously like if they're not connected, it doesn't go anywhere. But isn't that really weird? I didn't know that, and I was like, God, I'd love to know. I actually don't know anymore. I'd love to know how it does it. I don't know what is the story, but yeah, just rips them apart and then it doesn't swim any further. Number four, and this is a kind of a fact from the US, so it may not necessarily apply here, but apparently when it was first being developed in the US, they had to market it as, well, they first had to kind of like present it to manufacturers and stuff, or like the you know, pharmaceutical industry as a fertility drug to get it past people basically, and to like, because obviously contraception was still super like taboo then and stuff, so they had to say that it was a fertility drug to kind of just, yeah, to get it basically on the market, which is not surprising again, but fun fact. It was actually illegal, not even just taboo, it was actually illegal at the time in like the 1950s, I think, in the United States. I'm open to correction, but I think so, to give out, kind of like in Ireland about, you know, only last year, lol, it was illegal to give out information on birth control. So I guess, like, yeah, I mean, creating a birth control was even more illegal then, so they had to, yeah, market it as a fertility drug, which is hilarious. I think then once they maybe like got it through or whatever, it was then marketed to the public as a PMS drug, so like you take it if you had, you know, like maybe like irregular periods or just like any symptom of PMS, which is so many, as I hope and I'm sure we all know. I might do a whole video on that one day, who knows, because I could talk all day about PMS. Woo! Crazy how like these good things were being developed and we still had to like lie and stuff to get it past people. But yeah, hilarious. And I think like, I mean, I guess like at the time as well, doctors would have known that maybe people weren't getting it for PMS, but still like prescribed it to them, knowing they would use it for contraception, which was very nice and sadly necessary. Yeah, interesting. Number 5, again a US statistic. Apparently, so the pill was kind of introduced in the US in like the 1950s and 1960s, and apparently then, and again I couldn't find anything to like corroborate this, but apparently bra sizes started increasing. So apparently like the C cup increased like in sales 50% than like the previous decade or whatever, and like the only known like correlation was like the pill had been introduced. And obviously like some people do get like bigger boobs in the pill, some people don't. Like there's all so many myths and different types of pill as well, depending on what you're on. But apparently again, that's just another fun fact. Feel free to correct me, but yeah, interesting if true that the purchase of C cups increased 50% than like the previous decade or whatever. So yeah, hilarious. Number 6, and I kind of wanted to just pop this in. Like, I've heard, basically it's about like sterilisation for women, so also known as tying your tubes, like tying your fallopian tube so like you don't get pregnant anymore. And I know like a lot of people will do that, say like here in Ireland when they've had loads of kids and they like don't want any, but like you hear so many stories of women like all over the world going to their doctors and being like, oh yeah, I want you to tie my tubes, and they're like 21 or whatever. And either they have like severe like endometriosis or they have severe PCOS, like polycystic ovary syndrome, like I don't know, maybe they have like just actual general illness that they need them tied for their sanity, or they just have nothing wrong with them and don't want to have kids. And you hear so many stories of doctors being like, no, I'm not doing it on you because they're too young. And it's like, it just makes me so angry because it's like, oh my god, like why can't you just trust women that they know what they want and to make their own decisions? But what I found out when I was researching for this video was that it's quite popular in the US, sterilisation, that apparently it's the 2nd most popular form of contraception amongst American women, which I'm really surprised at. Maybe it's that I'm coming at it from an Irish point of view and I've heard all these stories, so maybe I'm like, Jesus, but yeah, apparently it's the 2nd most popular form of contraception, tying your tubes and actually just being sterile and actually just not being able to have them at all anymore. So, which is very, very interesting, I think. And apparently as well, it's the most popular choice for specifically black women over the age of 35. That is the #1 choice. And finally, number 7, which I think is one of the most interesting facts, and this was the one that actually spurred my idea to do this video, and it makes me just so angry and so confused and like so insane, like oh my god. A lot of people know about it now. It's only kind of really come to light in like the last year or so, which is ridiculous that it has taken this long. But basically, so a lot of people will know this, people who have been on the pill. The general kind of direction or thing that you did was you take your pill for 3 weeks, and then you would take either nothing for 1 week, or you take like a placebo pill that had like just nothing in it, just to keep the pattern of taking a pill. And then you would get like a fake period, is kind of what it was described to me as anyway. You would get a bleed, like a withdrawal bleed, and like it never made sense to me. I was like, it's not a period, like, because the lining of your womb hasn't built up, and that's what a period is the lining of your womb coming out. So what's actually coming out? Like, and like, why do we need this? And it never actually made sense to me, but I never saw anything different, so I just obviously, like, when I was on the pill, I obviously kept doing it or whatever. Basically now it has come out that the reason we have that is because the men who invented the pill, but obviously she was super grateful, but just to be aware that men have designed most things that women put into their body. I'm just saying. The men who designed it, they basically wanted to get it past the Catholic Church and wanted their approval, but they were coming up against, you know, the Catholic Church obviously was like, no, like this is irregular and we don't want you having kids and all this stuff. So basically they kind of framed it as just kind of a hormonal regulator, and that basically if women still had this bleed once a month, that they could show to the Catholic Church that the pill wasn't, you know, outrageously affecting the woman's, like, you know, cycle and the way the woman's body worked and everything. And it made it seem a lot more natural that, like, even though they were taking this pill, that they were still getting this period every month. And so that's literally the reason why we have this week block where you do get a withdrawal bleed and you do have to stop taking the actual pill itself. Like, it's nothing to do with our health, it's nothing to do with getting pregnant, it's like completely just to appease the Catholic Church basically, which again, not shocking, but I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. So now if people don't know, you don't have to do that week at all. If you do want to do a week, if you do like having a bleed, some people do, they recommend now doing it for only 4 days. One, because you decrease the chance of getting pregnant if it's only a 4-day block where you haven't taken the pill, but also not taking it for 4 days, it's like a shorter amount of time that like you might like still remember after 4 days to start taking it again, where if it's like a 7-day block where you're not taking it, you might then forget to take it back up again, like then further increases the risk of pregnancy. So yeah, or if you don't want to have that break at all, which you don't have to do now, which is like, you can just continue taking your pill and it is completely safe. And this, like, I'm not a doctor, but I've heard this from numerous doctors, people who are qualified, that you can just continue taking the pill. And this for me, it was just like, and like, I'm not on the pill right now, but maybe I will be in the future. And like, it's crazy. And like, as well, really cool. If you don't want a period, which I really, like, lately I'm just like, oh, I really don't want it. You can continue taking the pill and it's fine and it's totally healthy and it's amazing. So yeah, that is just like wow to me. I don't know how many people knew that or people didn't know that, maybe let me know, but I think it's fascinating. So yes, that is this week's video. I hope you all learned something. I just want people to like question everything. Like, oh my god, like for me, like when I learned that one fact with the pill, I was like, what else are we being lied to about? Like, what else don't we know? And it's crazy the amount of stuff that like just isn't like told to us, or like it's insane. So yes, that is this week's video. Hope you all learned something and I will see you all in the next one, and let me know what you think down below and like my page and just do all the stuff. Yeah, bye.